The show will start in 1 minute. The show is about to start in...
Are you nervous?
I don't do nervous.
We are new here.
True. Let's go back to that later. Right now, showtime.
Miriam, I need your honesty.
What a dangerous request. Just come down.
Me don't mess up the aura, I ain't anybody. Do my little dance while I think I got goodness. They thought I was tripping up, popping the molly.
7.5? That's specific.
I'm being honest.
I can do better.
I know you can.
Really? 9.5?
A solid 10 if you change your shoes. There he is.
Ready to impress?
I already am. What about you?
No pressure.
Not at all.
We've come a long way since 2005. From a bold vision to a global movement. From zero to more than $300 million in revenue. But in the bigger picture, we are just getting started. The potential is enormous. In the coming decades, the omega-3 market will be worth around $200 billion. In every category, there's always one player who takes the lead and owns the space. Who will own test-based personalized nutrition? Many factors will play a role, but one thing stands above the rest. Ambition. Zinzino's ambition is grand. $1 billion in sales in the next 3 to 4 years. 20 million customers by 2035. 100 million customers by 2050. But numbers alone won't get us there. Your ambition will. Your state of being, your decision to build the life and business you once only imagined. Your desire to change people's health for the better. Your discipline to show up every single day. Even when it's tough. Especially when it's tough. Ambition brought us here. Ambition will take us there.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Summer Kickoff 2026.
You will want to stay for this one.
I'm Miriam de la Sierra, 2 years in Zinzino.
Ivan Martinez, 1 year, and still working on my introduction.
We have something in common, new beginnings and building an international business that didn't last.
Which makes you very selective for the next time.
Exactly.
I wasn't looking for another opportunity, I was looking for the right one. And this one turned out so good.
Starting over doesn't have to be a failure. And it can be a leverage, actually. You keep the experience and upgrade everything else.
That's what it is.
Reinvention done properly.
If you are already with Zinzino for a short or long time,
Or still on the edge of deciding,
this is your moment.
and your place.
Welcome home.
This is the power of vision.
Please welcome our founder.
20 years ago, I saw it. Thousands of people. I saw you long before any of this was real. And now, here we are. That vision has become reality. But we're not finished, not even close. 20 years is not the end, it's the beginning of a new era. So here's my challenge. Expand your vision, think bigger, step into the future with us at X Meeting Point Oslo, October 2026. 7,000 Zinzino partners from all across the world. The future isn't waiting. Get your tickets before they're gone again.
You've probably heard the saying, ambition drives behavior. But let me ask you a bit of a different question. Who becomes more ambitious because of you? Because ambition isn't just personal, it's not just about what you want, it's actually deeply connected to your leadership. And whether you realize it or not, your ambition are already shaping the people you have around you. Now, there is a saying I strongly do believe in. Everything rises and falls on leadership. And if that is true, the ambition of your team rises and falls on you. Now, I'm going to get back to that a little later here, but first I just want to take you on a little tour because I'm currently actually at our international annual event venue where we're going to meet in October. And I know that, some of you're probably still debating with yourself, should I go? Should I not go? Is it worth it? And I'm not necessarily expecting you to make that decision based on, looking at this hall here or looking at the room, the empty room. It's going to be so different, when we meet in October with thousands and thousands of people. But I really want to make a point out of this. Every decision you make matters. And one of the things that I've seen with all of our leaders is that in addition to obviously showing up and doing the basic work consistently, what everyone have in common is that they show up for the trainings, for the events, and where growth happens. Because as a leader, when you're building a team, you do know that the success of your team very often rises and falls of the culture that you manage and the community you manage to build. So I really encourage you to join us. If you haven't been on a Zinzino event before, these days are packed with inspiration, launches, as well as next level leadership training. And it's simply the energy that you can't necessarily get through a screen. So you want to bring your team, you want to be there yourself to learn, to refuel, to get inspired, surely, but also to get all of the tools that you need to make the most out of your business. Now, when I was 13 years of age, at least approximately, I found the book Think and Grow Rich in my grandpa's bookshelf. And even though I wasn't fluent in English at the time, I did understand enough to realize that thoughts are things. Now, I remember that very summer, I wrote my first goal list. And it basically consisted of 3 things. Now, when I grew up, I wanted to own a house with a pool. I was competing in swimming at the time. And I thought to myself, that would be super convenient, right? Because then I could exercise every single day, right? Now, the other thing that I wanted on my list was a car without a roof, probably meaning a convertible. And then I wanted to be so rich that I could buy literally everything that I wanted. And at the time, I think that probably meant just eating as much ice cream that I wanted during the summer, as well as also have the money to buy the Levi's jeans that my schoolmates had that I did not have yet. Now, even though my goals were not necessarily so spiritual or noble at the time, I really, at a very young age, believed that my life could be created on purpose. And surely I had no idea how to accomplish my goals, and there was a lot more goals, I can tell you that as well. But I just believed that life could be bigger. And reading that specific book, it was like someone was opening up a door in my mind. Now, one of the questions that I've asked myself many times over my career is, why are some people more ambitious than others? I've even at times asked myself, what is wrong with me? Because I have this urge, this drive, I want to produce. I want to create. Now, some of you who are watching, you know exactly what I mean. You have the same, right? You get to a target, you're celebrating for maybe 20, 30 minutes, and then automatically, right after, you're like, what's next? Now, surely living with a husband for way over 2 decades that is infected with the same virus does not necessarily help in the matter. But sometimes I've asked, is it personality? Could it be birth order? I'm the oldest, I'm a little bit more intense than my younger siblings. Is it environment? And I think that everything kind of plays a part. But after analyzing myself and working with a lot of people over the years, my conclusion is that it's probably a combination of your conscious and subconscious programming over time. Now, very often when I hear people talk about hunger or ambition, I often hear them talk about it as a single trait, like something you have or you don't have. And I don't necessarily believe that. I do believe that ambition is formed by 3 forces that are continuously influencing each other's. And I call them internal growth, external growth, and your imagination. And together they form what I define as the triangle of ambition. Now, if one side is weak, the whole shape becomes unstable. And very often I've found that I could diagnose whatever plateau I have in my life by looking at which side is weak. Now, your internal growth is shaped by the environment that you grew up in, the people you spent your time with, and the messages that you absorbed at an early age. But it's also, related to everything that you've done ever since: your personal development, your professional development, your resilience, your confidence, as well as your identity. Now, in many ways, it's fascinating because your internal growth very often set the bar for what you believe is possible for you to achieve in your life, what you feel worthy of attracting. Now, your external growth is everything that happens around you. Your physical, your social reality, what you see every day, what you do repeatedly, the messages that you absorb, as well as the lifestyle that you make normal. Now, one of the things that I think is really interesting is that if you surround yourself with bigger thinkers, people that are doing a lot better than you will be influenced by that. And your brain will automatically try and match and make decisions that are matching the people that are actually doing better than you, right? And it's not just gonna influence what you then do, but it's also on a deep core level gonna influence what you actually believe is possible for you. And then the last one, and this is probably my favorite, your imagination. And I truly do believe that your imagination chooses your destiny. Now, this is where your purpose lives. This is basically your ability to picture a future that doesn't yet exist, but that still you decide to build. Now, this is where a vision lives. This is where your future starts to feel real before anyone else can see it. And it's not just related to all of the different things that you want, right? All of the money that you want to earn or all of the great things that you wish to accomplish, but it's also on a core deep level, the transformational process that you wish to go into yourself, to change yourself into becoming your ideal self. Now, in many ways, I think that your imagination gives your ambition direction. And it helps you set goals that are not just logical, but also deeply meaningful to you. Now, like I said earlier, I think that very often you can diagnose whatever plateau you're at in your life, but looking at which side is weak. So let's say that you have huge goals, but you have inconsistent execution. It's very often your internal side that needs strengthening. Now, if you're working really hard, but your goals kind of stay the same, it's very often your external side that needs focus. Maybe you need new rooms, new mentors, higher standards around you. And if you're doing really well, you're performing well, but you still feel kind of flat on your inside, it's very often your imagination that needs a reactivating. Maybe your why needs a fresh upgrade. Now, this is something that I'm deeply passionate about, as you can probably understand. And I wish I could have had like several hours talking about this, but we're not necessarily going to have too much time digging into it. But I still want to go a little bit into it. But one of the things that I really do believe is important to understand is that it's very easy to say to yourself, I wish to have all of these things in my life. But I think the most important question that you always have to ask yourself is, what value am I willing to deliver to get that? What's the value? Because I think that everything starts with who you are. You got to be before you can achieve. Now, I know that this is a little bit of a deep topic, and it's maybe a little bit more of a leadership topic. And some of you who are watching, you might say to yourself, well, I don't necessarily feel like a leader. I don't have a huge team yet. But I do believe that the minute you step into this business, you are a leader. And the number one person that you got to lead is you. Now, one of the things that I see common with all leaders that we have that drive ambition in others is that usually they have three things in common. Number one, they dream deliberately. Number two, they act relentlessly. Every single day, you are in action. And then number three, you will educate yourself on a consistent basis. Now, dreaming is not something that you do when there is time. I do believe that every single day, you should set aside some time to think about your future, whether it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 30 minutes a day. You want to submerge yourself in the direction that you are going. Now, how would it feel to be able to put the key in, and open the door to your dream home and invite your family in and know that this house is all paid for? It's debt free. Now, how would it feel to be able to invite your parents on that holiday that they've been dreaming about their entire life? How would it feel to be able to send your child to whatever college or university of your choice or their choice without having to think about the financial part of it, or even invite your whole family and your children into the business and maybe build to Black Crown or ambassador or even president and beyond? Now, how would it feel to fill an event, a room with 500 people from your team, or even 5,000, or for the bigger thinkers in the room, 50,000 people? How would it feel to be able to write out whatever check that you wish to give someone, or a project, or like an organization that you truly, truly believe in? Now, I think that you gotta be able to use your imagination. And again, your imagination gives your ambition direction. Now, one of the things that you're going to hear me say over and over and over again is that we are all about inspiring change in life. And our big, bold target is to hit 100 million customers by 2050. Now, some of you, when you hear this, you think that is crazy because it's so big, it's so ambitious. But I truly do believe that achieving big targets in life, it always starts with self-suggestion. Now, the more you suggest something to yourself, well, automatically, at one point, it then becomes an auto-suggestion. Now, science actually proves that you could be a little bit extreme or obsessed in a positive way, to get what you want. Now, when you are focused on reprogramming your brain, you gotta boost neuroplasticity, which is basically your brain's ability to rewire. And surely neuroplasticity is happening on a continuous basis throughout every single thing that you do, but it happens faster when you repeat something with intensity and emotion. Now, your brain doesn't change through casual effort. It changes through extreme focus. Now, that obsession boosts dopamine. Dopamine boosts motivation. Dopamine is kind of like that mental energy drug that keeps you going when other people want to give up around you. And because your brain filters reality through what you're focused on, your reticular activating system starts to tune your attention toward what matters most to you. Now, this is the reason why dream boards work, why manifestation work, why visualization work. Because when you're very focused in one direction, your brain will start to notice the people and the opportunity around you to match that focus. Now, a few weeks ago, I talked about a study that I find really fascinating to our directors. And it's a study that was conducted actually the year I was born, 1980, and it's called the Dartmouth SCAR experiment, where the researcher went in and they studied expectation bias. Now, they divided the participants into two groups. And one of the groups, they drew this really ugly scar from the ear to the nose. Now, their assignment was that they was going to enter a room and talk with strangers. Now, what was interesting was that after this group with the scar came out, from speaking with the strangers, they all said that during the conversation, they felt limited, judged. They felt that they could not be themselves because the stranger was only, looking at their scar. Now, what was very fascinating, however, was that before this group with the scar was entering the room, the ones who were conducting the study, they actually went over to them and they said, before you enter the room, I'm just going to put on some moisturizing cream to ensure that the scar doesn't crack and that it sets properly. Now, what they did not know was that as they were putting on the moisturizing cream, they removed the scar. So, in reality, they entered the room exactly as themselves. Now, the big question that I have for you is, how many scars are you bringing into the different situations in your life? Now, I strongly do believe that you always get what you expect. And there are so many situations that I think that if you just removed yourself from maybe the fear. Actually, I was being interviewed at a panel here in Holland a while back ago. And one of the questions that they asked me in the end was this: what advice would you give to your younger self? And actually the answer, I said, I would not be so fearful about what other people think. Now, how many situations do you enter into your life and you're just fearful about other people's opinion about you? So you're going into a situation with certain scars that you actually don't need to have. Now, let me make a point here. I'm going to show you a slide, and I want you to pay very closely attention to the green objects. You're only going to get 3 seconds. And here you have the slide. Okay, that's the 3 seconds. Now, listen to this. What was the red objects in the photo? Now, I'm assuming that some of you are smiling to yourself now because the majority of you could probably not recall what was the red objects. Why? Because your brain was focused on the green. So again, if you go out in your life and you tell yourself, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I don't have all of the contacts, I don't have all of the skills, well, guess what? That is exactly what you're going to get. However, if you tell yourself, my mind is worth millions, I'm always at the right place, at the right time, every single day I grow and I take quantum leaps towards my dream future. Every single day I learn, I get better at what I do. Well, guess what? That is exactly what you're going to get. Now, I could keep on talking about this, but let me bring you back, to my childhood. Because after reading that particular book, like I said, it was like someone was opening up a door in my mind. So I remember, as I was going to bed and after doing my prayers, I all started to visualize my future life. Now, one of the things that I also did was that every time when I was competing, and as I said, I was competing in swimming at the time, I noticed that if I went through the race in my mind before I actually did it, how strong my strokes would be in the water, how I would go into a turn, out of a turn, I usually always performed a lot better. Now, even though my breakthrough in the business 26 years ago when I got started did not happen overnight, it took so much growth, on a personal level, on a professional level, I can clearly say this. The moment I decided to take captive my thoughts, the no's started to turn more into yeses. So again, dreaming, thinking about your future is not something that you do when there is time. You want to incorporate it every single day. You want to work on your internal growth, your external growth, and your imagination. Now, as I said, leaders who build ambition in others, they also take action. Every single day, you want to do something that are moving you towards your goal. Now, there is 2 things that I think is important in this context, and that is, if you really want to create some growth in your business, you really got to focus on how much time you spend and how you spend your time. Now, I know that the majority of you who are watching here today, you're doing this business part-time, which basically means that most likely you're investing about 15 hours a week. If you're full-time, you're probably investing 40 plus hours a week. And I think that the challenge, especially if you're doing this part-time, is that it's so easy to get into a start and stop rhythm. And I think it's so important to never underestimate the power of doing something consistently over time. Now, even though 15 hours a week is not necessarily a lot, it can actually change the course of your life if you are consistent in what you do and how you spend that time. But like I said, it's not just about spending the hours. You also got to be focused on how you spend the hours, because you can spend the hours on a lot of different things. And it really boils down to how effective you are with your time. So I think that at least 50% of the time you spend should be centered around growth zone activities, showing the business, showing the products, as well as scheduling meetings for yourself and your team, doing the money-making activity that are actually creating the growth in your business. But then, number 3, if you're really serious, you also make sure that you educate consistently. Every single day, you want to read, you want to listen, you want to go to GoCore or tune in to certain podcasts to really fuel your mind. It's not just about the nutrients that we put into our body, and we know that is important, right? But it's also what you actually fuel your mind with. And whether you realize it or not, what you read, what you listen to will affect what you do, how you communicate, as well as also what you expect from yourself, as well as others. Now, I could talk a lot about our expectations for this year, and talking about that, we do have some really big expectations for this year. Our aim during 2026 is to bring in 100,000 new partners, 1 million new customers. We want to help 10,000 partners to A team, 5,000 to executive, 1,200 to diamond, as well as 300 to crown. And I also do believe that along that journey, there is probably going to be 20 or more presidents. Listening to this, hopefully you will feel inspired yourself to write down some bold targets for you and your team, if it's not already in place. But what I strongly do believe is this: you are wonderfully and powerfully made. And as a result of your creation, you're given the authority to lead, produce, and impact people around you. Now, from this training, hopefully you will get a lot of notes, tools that can help you grow in your personal and your professional development. But my prayer for you is really this: that you leave this training with an inner fire where you refuse to settle for comfort, where you choose growth, and that you remind yourself that your ambition does not stop with you. It shapes the people you lead, the culture you create, and the future you are trusted to build.
Quick reminder, Leadership Day kicks off Thursday, one day before annual event. And good news, if you are diamond and above, the tickets are on us.
Not a diamond yet? No problem. You can still join. You can grab a Leadership Day ticket. And here's the move. If you don't have the annual event ticket, get it now, before it's gone again.
This weekend will be bigger, bolder, and more impactful than ever, with all the tools, insight, and momentum from where you are now to where you want to be.
And yes, it's going to be a lot of fun too.
Speaking of fun, what about joining us for this?
Why should you qualify for the director trip in Zinzino? I think it's because it is doing the most important thing for you that you have to do if you want to level up in your business. Yes, we have to do the activities. Yes, we have to expand our mindset to grow personally. Yes, we have to learn the skills. But the most important thing we have to do to really become a long-term success in this business is to transform our whole identity, to see ourselves even better than we are at the moment. And this happens the most when you're here at the director trip with 700, 800, 900, 1,000 other Zinzino directors and above, with the conferences, with the 5-star luxury. So if you're here at this director trip, this will change your whole life and your whole business forever. And that's why you should be here as soon as possible.
So, why should you qualify for a director trip?
It's amazing to be all over the world in different places. But if I shall mention something that is really, really the best thing, is the people. To meet the team, have time for the team, to meet other leaders, to share conversation. Yes, I would say the best conversation I have had is by the pool and by the ocean, because we are so relaxed and we share ideas, we share experience, and a lot of laughter. So yes, these journeys, these trips, they are transformational.
Yes, and to place yourself in an environment like this with like-minded people that have big thoughts, big visions for the future, it's a way to 10x your vision in a very short period of time. So it's very efficient and it creates memories for life.
So should you be qualifying to get on this director trip? Oh, absolutely! This is like a 5-star all-inclusive vacation where you're really feeling like royalty with the beaches. Can you hear the waves? With the pool, with the palm trees in the sun. I mean, where do you get stuff like that? And actually, not only that, but you're gonna get these next level trainings from all those leaders that you see. You can get to talk to them, go have lunch with them, go get coachings with them. Why not do everything you can to learn what you need to do to get to your next level? Now, I would say there's probably one thing that is the most important reason you need to qualify for the director trip. There is something magical in the room. It's an electric feeling when you have so many people gathered here that are going to have the same mission and vision and purpose to make the world a better place. So you need to do everything you can to make sure you qualify for the next director trip. You won't be sorry for it.
For about 3 years ago, did I gather the sales team for what I saw as a couple of hours of workshop to define the best practice of a sales director at Zinzino. Little did I know that we spent like 36 hours together to fight and describe and define what we called the 10 rules of a sales director of Zinzino. At that time, we were about 13, 14 people in the room. I've done my investigation and gotten some feedback from the top leaders in the Leader Council, of course, Ergen and Hilda. So I had kind of a sense of what we were supposed to bring to the table. We were discussing, as I mentioned, and I vividly are kind of thinking with a smile the discussions that Kirsten Pierce and Art Jonak, when they described the headlines and the importance of what we were doing together. At this summit, we drilled down to the perfect kind of scenarios of what we thought that the field would love to have us doing as a corporate person. I'll send out the 10 rules, but I'm going to go through them a little bit later now. But before that, this is maybe a little bit awkward for you to talk about what the sales will do to support you. But it is the most important things that we do. Of course, I have knowledge and I do understand that we also need to do accounting and finance. We need to do super good support for partners and customers. We, of course, need to support you on logistics, production, product, and on the tech side as well. And, of course, marketing is important, and the digital experience. And I haven't forgotten that we have to have a vision, a clear vision as a company, inspire change in life, that we have a mission of inspire health and wealth for customers, friends, and family, that we have ambitious goals of reaching 100 million customers by 2050, that we have a corporate governance that we're living through, we have some core values that we keep dearly, that we have a clear strategy and a culture that is strong and united, field and corporate. So, back to the best practice and the days that we were talking about all of the different findings. What is the most important thing for you as a member in the field, and what is the most important thing that you can think that you can be supported at from the sales director? The number one thing is that the sales directors are supporting you with professional representation, that they are supporting you in everything that you do. Your success is everyone's, including my and the field leaders and the corporate staff, of course, success. So that is the most important thing. The two next one is engaging with prospects, meaning that you have maybe 2-to-1 meetings, that they are engaging with you, supporting you, and in smaller markets even, that the corporate sales are also engaged in recruiting themselves. That would be extremely important. Number 4 and 5, that is about troubleshooting. I'm calling it, number 4 is firefighting. And number 5 is preventing fire. Making sure that the roadblocks are moved away so you can put all your effort in signing in new customers and partners. Number 5 is something that we were discussing for hours. And this is my point, my favorite point, and that is outbound calls, meaning that we call all the partners, talk to them, engage with them, communicate with them, ask them for advice, but also if there's anything we can do to help the partners with. Then the last ones are casting a vision, meaning that you could be able to, at any given time, maybe 30 seconds, a minute to an hour, you can talk to the leaders and make sure that they see the vision of Zinzino. So we could communicate from the corporate side all the benefits about being a partner. Either you are part-time or full-time. Number 8 is forecasting. We need to make sure that we have enough goods in our warehouses, making sure that logistics works, and then feedback from the leaders in the field is also giving back to logistics and the production so they can be prepared if something is happening, either good or hopefully not bad. And then, of course, event participation, meaning that you can have people from the staff supporting you at events. And the last, but maybe the most important thing, is recognizing all the efforts that you are doing out there. So you kind of got it now that today's meeting is of course, for me, my message to you is all the different things that we're doing. Everything that Zinzino are doing is truly fantastic, and we will be there to support you. And I have such an amazing support, and I feel that every time I'm out presenting Zinzino in certain events, or if I'm together with the staff, corporate staff, truly amazing. And then, of course, all the different new sales directors that we have all around the world. And I'm so impressed of the team that we have. And I'm going to present them, but they're also going to present themselves more than me presenting them. So I've asked them to do a little bit of a hi and talk about all the different markets. I'm starting with the team that we have in Asia, all the fine people that we have in Asia, led by Thomas, which I'm truly grateful for. Then we have 3 teams in Europe, led by Jacob and Sammy and Stefan Mule. Truly amazing. And then over in Americas, we have a team led by Miguel. And we have now expanded the team to over 40 participants. What we had like 3 years ago with 3 times or less revenue, today we have so many new people coming in to support your business. As I said, your success is everyone, including my success in this. So look at this, and I'm going to close off by sending over the highs and goodbyes from my team. Good luck on the next half year. Make sure that you are doing all what you can do. I'm so truly happy with all your effort and the results that we have created. And I'm knowing for sure that this year, 2026, will be the best year ever for Zinzino. Bless you.
Hi, Thomas Ekberg here in Hong Kong.
Steve Brown, Japan.
Hi, my name is C.K. Lee here in Utah, United States.
I'm Joe Lee. This is Seoul of South Korea.
Hello everyone, I'm Penny. I serve in China market.
Hello, I'm Roger. I'm from Taipei, Taiwan.
Hi, my name is Sanjay from Zinzino, India. based at Delhi office.
Hello, I'm Zhang Lai. I'm serving China and Hong Kong market.
Hello, my name is Sid from the Zinzino, Thailand.
Hi, I'm Wong Valenzuela. I'm from Zinzino, Philippines.
Hi, welcome to Singapore. I'm Winston here, and I will be here to grow and develop your business here in Singapore.
Andreas from Indonesia.
Robert Hawkins, Australia and New Zealand.
Inspire change behind. Zinzino, Malaysia. Yay!
Hi, my name is Jacob Spijker. I'm at the head office in Gothenburg, and I am the president of sales for North, East, and West Europe.
Tomasz Stanisławski, Poland and Eastern Europe.
Hi, I'm Lars Dahlberg. I'm working at HQ Gothenburg. I'm vice president of the Nordic region and Estonia.
Hey everybody, I am Jonas Henberg, and I'm the sales director for the Benelux region, which means Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. And I'm based here at the Luxembourg office.
Stefan Mühl, Switzerland.
Martin Jesch, sales director of operations for Germany, Austria, Switzerland, based in Poland.
Cihan Ünal, Istanbul, sales director, Turkey.
My name is Jimmy Jim Özdil, and I'm here in Turkey, in Antalya.
My name is Sami Abul, here from Spain.
Hello, my name is Nacho Escobar, and I'm based in Madrid.
Hi, this is Carmelo Danzi from Florence, Italy.
Hello, my name is Maya Kester, and here I am in Nice, south of France. Welcome to France.
Hola, soy Elena González y soy la directora de Zinzino España.
Miguel Ángel Beas, president of the Americas, the USA.
Hey, this is Art Jonak from the United States of America, and the rest of 2026 is gonna be at a whole nother level.
Jay Schaefer, Orlando, Florida.
Hello et bonjour. I'm Rochelle McCready from Canada.
Josh Parker here in southern Utah in the United States.
Hello, I'm Renzo Higilio, Vice President of Hispanic Markets of Americas.
Hi, I'm Carolina Herrera. I'm Country Sales Manager for Mexico.
Gracias Besares, Austin, Texas.
Pia Montoya Ku desde Nebraska en Estados Unidos.
Angélica Puentes, Colombia and Peru.
Hello, I am Sandro Gomez, Sales Coordinator for Peru and Colombia.
And what the difference between success and significance really is, that is leadership. That's where you find the jump from success to significance. We've heard that before many times. One of the most important things is that we are willing to get out of our comfort zones, because the comfort zone is dangerous. And complacency is the silent killer of everything that would come later. So we want to maintain and stay outside our comfort zone, because we have to understand that everything that took us here is not going to take us there. But let me tell you guys a secret. The first thing people will notice in you as a change is when you alter your behavior and you improve your standards. And it can be the small things in life, because little things matter. Because if you don't raise your standard, you fall to what you normalize, and then you are surprised why it doesn't work. Now, another word next to standards I learned too late, and it's probably the most important of all, is culture. When we are in Zinzino growing so incredibly fast as we do right now, and we have all that success, to turn this into significance, we have to become good leaders who honor the culture of Zinzino. Because once you lost that culture that is formed here, that is what attracts the people to Zinzino, you will see it is very hard to reinstall. And it doesn't collapse loudly. It collapses very slowly and silently through little mistakes repeated over quite a lot of time. But you know, knowing about culture, looking back, I think we were lucky to make one smart decision. And the smart decision we made when we went into Zinzino, from day one, us and the leaders made sure that this is Zinzino only. We spoke only Zinzino from day one. We lived only Zinzino from day one. We cherished the hero product, balance oil and balance concept from day one. And everything else suddenly became super on the side. We aligned with the culture of Zinzino and made sure that we had all our leaders with us so that then we could duplicate the right behavior, the right thinking, and the right identity with these leaders. The culture is defined by the faces to the outside, which is all of us, the leaders in this room and everyone in our teams on the global scale.
If you're not producing, you're robbing yourself from the future and the promise. If you're not producing, you're robbing the community and the global impact. You're robbing people from a health or financial breakthrough. And the success is nothing more than a few simple principles applied over a period of time. I'm a believer that it's hard to recruit your way to the top without teaching and supporting people. And so it takes duplication. I believe, just saying less to more people, realizing it's a numbers game, detaching yourself from the outcome. I love when somebody can take their eyes away from the circumstances and can look beyond the struggle, can look into their dreams. Your job and our job is to help people point at their potential and point at what's possible. Being curious. Everybody has a story that determines the state that you're in. And that state controls your behavior. It's really important to talk in terms of how it can solve their problem. Biggest question somebody has is what it can do for me. So it's easier to build a beautiful garden, and instead of just chasing butterflies.
I've been doing this a long time, but what I learned here is the ownership had a vision. That starting with Orion and Hilda, they were willing to be in the field and get paid just like me, just like you. Having to qualify, having to get customers. Most owners sit up in the ivory tower and tell us what to do, and they get paid in a different way. We're solving a real problem in the world. There's a huge problem. We will eventually test 1% in every country. And then all on top of that, what else? We will become the largest direct selling company in every one of those countries. So when I joined Zinzino 2 years ago, a lot of my friends didn't think it was a popular choice. It's one thing to say, we're going to have 100 million customers. Tell everybody what they want to hear. It's another thing to put it put a plan into action and be willing to bet on yourselves. And everyone like me and these other companies realize this is a great bet. The equity revolution reflects a shift from rewarding contributions with short-term earnings for rewarding the contribution with long-term ownership. In addition to equity, Zinzino centers its business on a recurring customer revenue through subscriptions. The combination is powerful: strong consumer retention, predictable field earnings, and the opportunity for leaders to build long-term wealth. Equity, think about it. When you are an equity partner, what does that mean? Number one, it creates alignment between the field and the home office. It drives retention. Dealing with the biggest problem in our industry is attrition. People give up far too soon. It strengthens the culture, giving everyone a stake or an interest in what we're building. Our business, our industry is so beautiful because it reflects one thing. You're rewarded for the success of your students. So become a good teacher. Lead by example. Imagine you can earn a reward for helping people succeed. Help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want.
I think one of the biggest mistakes are that we think they need more information.
they need to have this video, they need to have this product sheet, we kill people with information. What we do then is that it's so overwhelming. It's so overwhelming with information that they think, oh, I can't do this. What they need is direction. They need to be taken by the hand and get told what to do. They need clarity. When we have a startup meeting with people, we say, this will happen, but you know something? I just saw something in you. You can even be bigger than I am, because you have better skills than I had when I started in the business. The most important thing, because I must just tell you straight, I am not motivated every day. Most of the days I'm not motivated. But I have created habits. I have created my diary. I am tired. You know what gets me up? It's because I have booked something in my diary. I have promised myself to have the habits of having meetings booked on those hours. And I will tell you something magical what happens after those meetings. I can't hardly sleep because I get so excited. But the most important thing is, and that's what gives me goosebumps, absolutely every single day, and that is that life changes. Just to have that feeling that you have been a part of, changing someone's life to the better, where they see that they can be extraordinary people with extraordinary lives, and also be a part of changing other people's lives.
Why are you not fighting for your dreams? Why are you okay with status quo? Why are you just waiting for everything to come? You need to fight for it, and I'm happy that I look tired in a short period of time in order to create my dream life. Yes, you're tired, yes, you can do less, but really focus on onboarding your new partners. Focus on being there for them, because they started, because they follow your vision. So really focus to help them, because that's what many people say. At the beginning it was mainly why I didn't quit, because everybody told me to do so. Everybody laughed at me, ignored me, made jokes about me, and in my mind was, if I quit now, they are right again. If I give up now, what was it all worth for? I cannot allow that. That was my trigger at the beginning, really to prove them wrong. But the farther you get, the more plateaus you break through with this strategy, the more your focus shifts. Today, I don't want to prove anybody wrong. Today, I want to prove the people in my team right. That they invested in themselves. That they are on the team calls. That they are on the events. That they believed in my vision. So, you started to prove them wrong. Now you stay to prove your team right. At this specific day, I made the decision. I made the decision not to quit. I made the decision to create the person who is speaking on the biggest stages, inspiring thousands, by showing that normal people can achieve extraordinary results if they're brave enough to follow their dreams. They told me I can't, so I did. So can you.
Ivan, that smile, should I be impressed or worried?
Impressed, definitely impressed. And that's the look of someone who just attended his first director trip and whose expectations just got upgraded.
You really aim low.
I didn't. And that's the point, because I expected the usual things: hotel, food, location. But what I didn't expect was the experience, the people, community, and the conversations.
Exactly. All the things that money cannot buy. And you can pay for the destination, but you can buy that kind of experience. And I guess the next one is going to be even better.
Make sure you qualify. There is still time.
We are already ahead in the test-based nutrition, and still early. Now imagine you could listen in on the people shaping the future.
Not a summary, the actual conversation.
Unfiltered and focused.
And that's where it gets very interesting.
This is where you pay attention.
Because what you are about to hear
might just change how you see what's next.
Ready?
You should be.
Here you find us in a rare moment, actually, that we 5 people are together in the same space. And the space we're in is we're right at the heart of the Vitas Laboratories on the Science Park in Oslo. And we're just going to enjoy ourselves, really, and have a conversation about the kind of work that we do, which is very much a living, breathing daily activity for us. And we're so interconnected, whether that's online or in the labs, that we don't really stop like this and talk about the why, the how, the what of what we do. And that's the exact purpose of this little meeting today, is to give all of you a little bit more of an insight on really the science, the technology, the decision-making that drives everything that we do at Zinzino. And so, without further ado, I guess we just need to kick this conversation off. And it's on me to decide where to go. And I think that as we're at Vitas, I think it's only right, Thomas, that we go to you first of all. And really, I want to pitch this around, I guess, the common questions that crop up whenever people speak to us and whenever people are interested in what we do. And the test is central to what we do. And obviously, you're the man behind the test. So I'd say the biggest question is, why do we do it this way? Why is it that we use the DBS method, whole blood, rather than the method that other people are more familiar with, which is the red blood cell, the RBC? So if you want to take us through some of that thinking, rationale, and reason, that would be a great place to start.
Yes, I will. So, you know, these RBCs, they are interesting because when we analyze them, we get a long history, 120 days history, or what kind of lipids you've been eating. So if you use the plasma fraction, the yellow fraction, we only have like a short time period, you know, like what you had for dinner yesterday. But it's not so interesting, right? Because you already know. So the best thing would be to isolate these RBCs from the blood and analyze them. But that's kind of tricky because they are fragile, they will start to leak, they will die. And they are pretty hard to handle. You know, to collect them remotely and ship them requires to ship liquid, which is not so good because it can leak. Mm-hmm. And also you need cooling, dry ice, for instance, which is very expensive. So to kind of make it possible to do this in the real world, we collect whole blood. And kind of it's even better, you know, because what floats in your veins is whole blood, not RBCs. So what your organs are exposed to, your heart, your brain, your bones, are the whole blood. No? Not the plasma, not the RBCs, right? So it's kind of better. And it's kind of a tradition to use the plasma because it's simpler, because it's not that red, not that viscous, so it's easier to handle in machines and so on. So I think whole blood is a good thing to use. And to be able to ship it, we need to dry it because then we don't have a liquid anymore. It cannot leak, right? And when the water is removed, it's more stable. And also the pathogens in the blood will die, like HIV, for instance. So it's also safe to send it.
Yeah.
So I think DBS, dry whole blood, is brilliant. I mean, it's very well suited for a high volume collection of samples remotely and send it to a central lab.
And then, I mean, given that with any kind of tissue, any kind of measurement, you've got to look at how you can control the variance or the difference around the values that you can observe.
Yeah.
And so what kind of processes you have in place so that you're really narrowing that margin so that you know you've got confidence in the data that you report.
Yeah, and this is also important because the variance they will add for each step you do. You'll have more and more variance. So the fewer steps you have, the better the method, the better the precision.
Yeah.
Right. So this also is important when you use whole blood because then you have kind of fewer steps towards the final result, which keeps the method more precise. For instance, it is possible to convert to RBC units using a so-called regression equation.
Yeah.
But this involves some mathematical simplifications, right? And this will add uncertainty. So actually, it's better to use DHA, EPA, and whole blood than converting to the omega-3 index in the RBC fraction.
I think that's a really good point, and I think that's often something that people don't appreciate, is that every step creates an opportunity for things to broaden out in the observation.
Yeah.
And actually, that whilst these kind of equations can lend themselves nicely, like to developing a data neatness, it can also lead you off on a slightly wrong curve.
And then there's one more point, which is pretty key, I think, to this balance test. And that's it's not a quantitative analysis, like we don't have fixed numbers like nanograms per milliliter. It's a relative analysis, like percentage, right?
Yeah.
So actually we look at the difference in size between the arachidonic acid peak, the concentration, and the EPA concentration, the omega-6-3 ratio. And this kind of relative measure, the consequence of this is that it doesn't really matter how much blood you have, right? In all type of analysis, you actually need to know the exact amount of blood, which is kind of hard when you collect blood at home, ship it to the mail and so on, Things will happen. People sample with different quality. But the relative difference, will always be the same. So if you have a small sample or a large sample, the relative number will be the same, no matter what you do.
Actually, that reminds me, one of the first times we met, that was some of the data that we went through together.
Yeah.
You were showing me those, and that's like remained with me ever since, because that's such a kind of key aspect, because that measurement, the human part, wherever there's a problem in data, it's normally where humans interact.
Yeah.
That's normally where you start to get an inconsistency, and so that really does address that in such a neat way.
It is.
But I think the conversation's gone immediately now. It's blended into where I need to bring you into this, Emily, because the minute ratio is mentioned, your face is in my mind. So tell us a little bit about the omega-6-3 ratio and how we kind of consider that and how we place that. And maybe just give some clarity around that and explain what it isn't as well as what it is.
Absolutely. But first, I would like to just mention that everything we do here is because we know that fish intake is important. It's the omega-3 fatty acids from fatty fish that we know from so many studies and from population studies and community data is beneficial for your health. And instead of asking people what they eat and try to record it, we want to be able to measure it to see if you are absorbing the right amount, because you can eat the same amount of fish as I do but have different values because we are different on the inside. So that's what we want to measure. But some people can be interested in just looking at those omega-3s in your blood, and you can do that. But there's also this long history of looking at the ratio of omega-6 to 3. And there is actually 3 different measures that have the same name, omega-6-3 ratio. So I would like to clarify that as well. But this long tradition of looking at 2 specific omega-3, one specific omega-3 and one specific omega-6, and see the ratio between them and have that as the marker of a more healthy population. And that is used in high fish intake populations. So in Japan, we have that the very early studies as well. So this marker that we use, that is our omega-6-3 balance ratio, is used across the world and in many research papers. It's a well-established marker. But then we have what I call the dietary ratio, which is often used in the diet study when you ask people, what do you eat? How much omega-3? You ask what they eat, and then you have a data program calculating your omega-6-3 ratio. The same name, but different fatty acids.
Yeah, very different measure.
Yeah. So it's the shorter omega-3, the ALA and the LA fatty acids that is compared against each other. And then the third ratio is when some people think it's better to calculate all omega-6 and compare that to all of the omega-3s and have that ratio. We know that there are some weak points to that, but having the two most biologically active and relevant fatty acids against each other is the best method in blood, and also have a lot of research to it. So hope I answered the question there.
I think you did, and I think it's a key point to note is that nothing in the body happens in isolation. And so when you look at these, which are, definably the most biologically active, which is the AA, EPA, and then you work a ratio around them, that's far more really of a mechanistic insight as to the activity that's going on between these fatty acids, rather than that's simply just summarizing how much of a thing there is. So where do you think, just on this, where do you think this research is going to take us in the next, not just the research that we do, which we'll come to in a moment, but where do you think the broader research in this area of the ratio is going to take us in the next 5 to 10 years?
Oh, good questions. There's so many things. I don't know where to start, but continue to map out the ratio in different population groups.
Yeah.
Just continue to contribute with this base, the reference values that we are actually doing together now, and many people, many researchers are interested in to have from one and the same lab. That's also a big part of the benefit. But to be able to add more questions in our database will also help us be more precise with exact dosing. Do you need different dosage in different countries or regions that have a different background diet with more omega-6, for example, arachidonic acid high in their blood? Will there be a difference to have a bigger dose or not? So that will be a big focus.
I know there's something that you're really passionate about, because you mention it a lot, which is this, like a normal population. What does a normal population look like? And that's really interesting to us, is to map that. And I guess we've kind of started that with the first papers, to have a look at how the world is. So would it be fair to say that maybe in the next 5 to 10 years we'll have a clearer perspective of what is normal, rather than what's common, what is normal across it? And obviously something we can come to in a minute. We hope to contribute towards that knowledge and that understanding. But do you think that, well, let me phrase it differently. What's the real relevance of that? When we know what normal is, and we've got this really good reference table, how does that help us, not just from a research point of view, but from a population point of view?
So when we know, for example, that children have different levels, even though they are the same as their parent, high fish consumer, or get high omega-3 levels in them, they still have a natural variation. They still have a natural different level of, for example, arachidonic acid in their bodies, because their cells are maturing and dividing in another rate than for us. So, for example, it's normal and good for them to have higher arachidonic omega-6 fatty acids, even though at the same time have high omega-3, but they can have higher and still have good reference values. And knowing that and be able to account for that in our test is also safety for them, not to overconsume or think that they don't have good values. Same goes for other sensitive groups. Pregnancy, for example. Being able to contribute what is normal in each trimester when you have high fish intake.
But this difference between individuals, it's pretty natural, isn't it? It's because we are different, right? On the outside and even more on the inside. Genetics, right? Enzymes, uptake, maybe even the gut health, you know, uptake of the lipids. And isn't this actually the reason that we measure in each individual? Because it's not like one dose fits all. You actually need to measure, right? To find if people have the optimal concentration in the blood.
Exactly. So the measurement is absolutely for before and after, and also to see if the diet you eat or the supplement intake you have, does it give effect? Is this effective at all? To also be able to confirm that, see the thing happen, but also know when you don't need to push yourself anymore, when you are in a good space.
In the interest of broadening the conversation out just a little, I think we should keep in mind that whatever we define as normality here today is not necessarily normal in a historical context. And one of the things that we know has changed really since World War II has been a progressive move towards ultra-processed foods, which has coincided with a decline in average health expectancy. So what we're seeing today, particularly in populations in the temperate zones, is a population who I think that many nutritionists who say are already compromised. We see that in public health. And when we design policy guidelines and make recommendations, I think it behooves us to keep that long evolutionary and historical perspective in mind, perhaps a geographical element as well, because it's very clear that you can modify the inflammatory cascade in many different places. I mean, yes, the omega-3s and 6s are important, but we can prevent the inflammasome from assembling. We can prevent lysosomal release of various particles which are going to contribute to destruction of the ECM at the very end of the cascade. We can down-regulate the genes that code for those enzymes. So there's many different points of access, which we know about. And actually, our programs are designed to modify as well. And I'm hoping that as our research deepens and widens, we're going to start looking at some of those other ingredients in the inflammatory cascade as well.
I think, though, I just want to bring this back, actually, before I move on to, I want to ask some questions about a different test. But I think that as a guiding mantra, what does normal look like? I think that is so relevant in the modern world, which is to take stock of where we're at. Let's look at what is normal now, what is reality now, and then from there base decisions that move us forward. And with that notion of moving forward, Martina, obviously, you know, the gut health test, which you know, pivotal to the development of. Tell us a little bit about the research and the thinking that informed that test, because it's decidedly different to what a lot of people were familiar with, the type of test. But perhaps they shouldn't be. Maybe it shouldn't be such a surprise. Maybe if you can just give us an insight to really what informed that type of thinking.
Well, so there are many reasons for why we chose the path that we chose. Part of it was deliberately because we wanted to have a different type of test that doesn't require stool sampling for obvious reasons. But there also the notion of what the stool sampling itself provides of information, and the information is valuable, of course. It tells you the composition of the microbiome, but the research also shows that the composition is not always equal to the same outcome. So you can see individuals that have quite similar bacterial microbiome compositions, and still they have different health outcomes. And this naturally then leads us to wonder what is causing this. And this then again led us down to looking at the function of the microbiome. And when you then dive into metabolomics, this is really what that is. It tells us the functional output of the microbiome, because when the bacteria in the microbiome, for instance, are digesting our food, in the process of doing so, they produce these metabolites. And the metabolites then work as signals that interact with both the gut microbiome, but also with the broader host environment, so your body. So instead of then looking at just what is there, we want to look at this signal, because that's really where the physiology is affected.
Well, I've always liked the way you phrase that, which is that notion of tuning into the conversation. So it's not just about what's there, it's about, well, what are they doing? What are they talking about? What's happening in there? And that wasn't just a eureka moment. You didn't think that.
Yes.
So, and I know in previous conversations we've discussed the sheer weight and legacy of the research around this. And I think a lot of people maybe aren't as, well, they definitely won't be as up to speed as you are, but give people a little bit of a context of that, of one, how long this whole area has been investigated, and what's the kind of volume of research that's in this area?
Yeah, so the thing is, with the test, we are looking at these signals, but we are looking at some specific signals from tryptophan metabolism, which is a very well-known biology, and it has been studied for decades. But it's now in the recent years that it has been connected to the gut microbiome. And really, the research here has exploded these last years. And especially when you then dive into these metabolites like IPA, I think just from 2020 to 2025, there has been almost 700% increase in publications in that area.
Which is incredible. So, because that's just remarkable. So, I mean, literally that sheer volume of interest. And this comes back to your area, Thomas, really. A part of that surely has to be because of the advancement of the tools, the technology that enables to measure those spaces, the way that we can actually capture that data now. So there's a logic to that increase in observation, isn't it? It's not just because a lot of people suddenly decide they want to look at it.
No,
So,
of course.
So it's on those lines. And I remember in the period of developing the test as it is now, you know, Thomas, you kept coming out with new ideas every week about there was something else we could add, and there was a different type of analysis and all the rest of it. So if we can just really, I'm going to bring you in a second. If you just take a snapshot now, final comment on really what informed where we're at, and then Thomas, I want to give you an opportunity to speculate on where we might take the gut health test, because you've been analysing that database, and you know we've done so much learning from what we've observed. But if this was your elevator pitch and you'd say to someone, the research in this area has exploded, give me the elevator.
Yeah, so the main reason why this research has exploded is because the tryptophan metabolism is so central as it connects the gut microbiome with our immune system and also our metabolism. So these signals from tryptophan metabolism is a very interesting way of capturing this whole interaction. So we're not just measuring the microbiome composition or the gut itself, or we're not measuring the immune system itself or the metabolism in isolation. What we're doing with this test is looking at the interface between them.
And I think that's what makes this test so very profound.
Yes.
I mean, there isn't any single analyte or even group of analytes that we can look at which will tell us about something as important as health expectancy or life expectancy. But I tend to think, and we've had a discussion about this, that this particular probe comes about as close to that as anything else I know of. How do you feel about that?
I think it's very interesting, and I think the research area is moving so fast that we're going to get a lot of answers quite soon. And also just this, the fact that this metabolism of the tryptophan metabolism is also so sensitive to diet and lifestyle makes it also a very valuable readout of understanding how different individuals' response to their diet and lifestyle choices, because, like we said, everyone are different and we don't respond similarly to even the same inputs.
Yeah, yeah.
And also to remember that the big part that fiber plays for these values. I remember just from both learning and teaching at the university in nutrition and how we can measure it objectively, which there's not many ways to measure if you have been eating fiber and if you are a responder or not. So for me, it's huge that.
Very, very important. And given the depth and the strength of the relationship between fiber intake and subsequent disease risk and indeed mortality. And this is clearly a very important nexus.
I mean, we're living in the age now of what people call fiber maxing. And, you know, for decades, we've had this approach towards fiber first. You know, think about when you're developing your plate, fiber first. And, you know, sadly, some of the statistics don't support that across populations, but knowing is a great way to empower change. One of the things I most dislike from scientists is when they say, why don't I know this? But one of the things I've always enjoyed about you, Thomas, is that you are one of those people who's continually looking for that thing to find out something that they don't know about. And so in the context of what happened with the test and where it's at today, and every time I speak to you, there seems to be something else we can do with it. What would you think would be the next step for the gut test as it exists today?
I just want to comment, you know, we say that all people are different. But some people are not, right? Because we have twins, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And one-egg twins are supposed to be identical, at least the genetics, right? And this is what we usually regard as identical, kind of, you know? But I think the gut test touches up on something else, the microbiome, you know? Because even in one-egg twins, the microbiome is very different, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Depending on how they live and what they eat and what they have been exposed for. So I think this test is cool because it's kind of looking at differences in twins as well, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's a nice part of this test.
Yeah, and I think that's also part of the value because, like, we know how much of an influence our dietary habits has on shaping the microbiome and the environment in the microbiome, and also, of course, our lifestyles. So this is a way of capturing this environment and the influence the diet has on it.
Which is a nice extension, I think, compared to genetics. But it's complex, right? The body is complex. The microbiome is extremely complex. The output from the microbiome, you know, to the blood is also much more complex than what we or Martina is looking at now with those 5 metabolites. So there is much more to do. And I think Martina knows very well that a part that haven't been touched up yet is the serotonin pathway.
Yes.
So maybe I could invite her to say something about that. And the brain, right?
How far do we go? Yeah. I think that's given enough of an insight as to what things might be considered as we move forward without giving too much away. But it is, and I think, you know, my comment would be, before we move on to research we're doing and research we aim to do, my comment would be that, you know, a great ambition was fulfilled when we launched that test. And not only how it serves people, which is really powerful, but also the insights it gives. And that in itself is kind of priceless, because it moves not only us together as an organization, but it actually moves the whole area of science forward, because it allows for far greater insight across the board. And that's a nice way to lead into, I guess, what's coming next from a research point of view. Everyone here is actually on the Scientific Advisory Board, which is really useful. So we all know what research plans we have or that we're doing. I know exactly what everyone's doing. So I think it's, let's just give a little bit of an insight. I think we'll start with you, Emily, and then yourself, Martina, but obviously Thomas and Paul, you've had already your eyes on these. Do you want to give an update with regards to the current research papers that you are spending all the hours on getting across the line?
All the hours, yes, in between all the other tasks, absolutely. So the second paper we're working on and have our focus on different supplementation group. You can be a non-supplement or a generic, the other supplement group, or being a part of the Zinzino program. It is a program, so it's not only a product. It's the whole setup with the feedback, with the testing, having a specific number of days to get the feedback, having someone that helps you understand the feedback, and all of this is a successful concept to bring such a big group into more higher omega-3 levels, which gives a balance. And that is what the paper 2 is about, and it's a lot of data, a lot of analysis, and it's good progress. Soon.
Soon. That's the magic word. Soon. Yeah. Martina, soon. When do you want to give an insight to what it is you're currently working on, your work in progress?
Yeah, so with the new tests, there is also a new database. So from the gut test, we have now accumulated quite large sample size of tests. So that's what I've been working on analyzing. And it's very interesting because it allows us then to look at how these metabolites behave in a large-scale real-world data set of real people out there. And we can see how it relates to their dietary habits, their lifestyles, and different forms of supplementations. And so we can both then be able to see these large-scale population-level trends and how it behaves, and especially this balance between these different pathways within tryptophan metabolism. And then when we dig even deeper into it, we are able to look more on the differences on individual responses and trying to find answers to why there are these individual variability that we see, which also helps explain a lot of the observational studies we see.
So they're imminent in one way, not to put any pressure on. I know it's soon. I'm going to just step back, because Paul, you, like myself, you're one of the kind of gatekeepers. You and I receive a lot of requests from institutes and medical, clinical departments who want to do a type of research. And it's kind of, it's upon us really. We kind of partner a little bit in the decision making as to what research we support. I think the key point I want to make here, before I start to talk about some of the partnerships that we've taken off the ground now, we don't just support research that's directly in line with what it is we're about as an organization. We do actually support research activity that is looking at the wider potential and impact for what we do. And so, without us getting too lost in that side of it, I guess, what are your thoughts on that? Because a lot of it actually comes to you and then to me. What are your thoughts on that? What have you noticed change over the past few years?
I think what I see happening is a wider awareness amongst the general community of clinicians and clinical scientists of what it is we actually have to offer. Mm-hmm. And judging by the approaches that I get, and I'm sure that you get these too, is that they are seeing remarkable results in friends, family members, and often in their patients that they have not witnessed before when those patients were solely under pharmaceutical management. So they then become very interested, and they want to know exactly what is it that we're doing to their patients, and can it be measured? Because as a scientist, you see a case, a couple of cases, you have a handful of case histories, it's not worth very much. We want to sort of hammer that data out on the Procrustean bed of a prospective randomized clinical trial. And the people who come to us, they have their own particular interests, and sometimes they overlap to a large extent with what we are doing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they have an interest which is actually relatively minority. Now, we may still want to be involved in that, even if it's not very commercial for us, because we happen to think it's a good research project.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll mention just one, which I don't know if you're familiar with this one. This is Judith, who is she's very well respected. hand surgeon. Now, if you know anything about the surgical hierarchies, brain surgery is at the top, but hands come pretty close after that. So this kind of very fine work that you do, she's extremely, as I said, well regarded. She's been doing this for 20 years, and she contacted me because she has a significant population of patients who have hand pain. Now, they don't have necessarily rheumatoid arthritis. We don't want to find ourselves in a clinical trial where we're demonstrating clinical endpoints that would lead us into this messy regulatory area where we cannot go. So the criteria that we're looking at are people who've got hand pain. Typically it's bilateral. Typically it's involving multiple of these very fine joints, which may not sound very severe. But of course, when you think about what you use your hands for, it means that you can't necessarily type, you can't use a knife and fork. It's really debilitating. Now, there are ways of measuring this. There are grip strength, and there's pinch strength, and there's key pinch testing as well. And all of these are validated systems. They're widely used. And so at the end of the day, we will have numbers. And she has a large number of patients she wants to put through this. At the end of the day, we will have, I think, a paper that says this is something that reduces hand pain. Now, hand pain is not a disease. But amongst the community of rheumatologists, they know very well what this is. And what they will then do is to take this idea, and it will spread laterally within the ranks of rheumatologists.
Well, I think that's a very good example that it's not, directly in line with what we're about as an organisation. We're very much focused on wellness, but where there is a potential for a research observation that's really, hyper focused on something they want to look at. We support that in the broader context of, value in the academic and the research community. And I guess I'll finish this by just explaining how our strategy works. So we've initiated some partnerships with some leading institutes. We've commenced one just recently with the University of Bath. We've just had an approach from Oxford Brookes University with regards to a research project. We've done work in the past with Liverpool John Moores University. We've worked with independent specialist labs, particularly on the development of the gut health test. And those networks are growing. And the work that we're really hyper-focused on is quite simple to summarize. We want to look at what are the wellness benefits, what is measurable, what is new normal in the context of what it is that we can offer the world. And as always, we always utilize our database, which is the largest database of its type in the world, to draw out insights and information that we think is benefit to the wider academic and even just health populations. So we've taken huge strides in the recent years to formalize a research strategy. We want to make sure that whatever we offer is best in class, fit for purpose, and targeted towards supporting people where they are, to help them where they are to make decisions that they can utilize in the context of their own lives. Our objective, our focus is wellness. It's living well. That is our objective. That's what we focus on. That is our kind of key ticket to the world, and that's what we shall remain focused on. And so, to conclude this and wrap it up, I just want to thank you all for taking the time to travel here and to be here from multiple flights and trains and planes and automobiles. So thank you all for being here. I hope it's been useful for everybody who's listening to this. And I dare say that before too long, we'll do something like this again soon. So thank you all.
Well, for me to really explain that to you, we have to understand a little bit of the journey that the fish oil goes on, right from capture to the bottle. And really, it's all about recognizing what can interfere with that fish oil. And typically, from the moment it's been caught and you start the processing, it's anything that relates to light, to heat, and oxygen. So the more efficient that process is, the more intact the oil is when it reaches the bottle. And let's pause for a second and think about the bottle. Even the balance oil bottle was designed with purpose. The color of that bottle is to protect it even more from light. But then let's get real. What do we have the fish oil encapsulated in? Well, it's in that extra virgin olive oil. That's high phytonutrient substance, which in itself is active within the body. But in the context of balance oil, it starts to trigger a response whenever you consume any type of whole food. there is a biochemical conversation that commences from the very first bite. What happens is, let's say you're biting into an apple. This wakes up certain enzymes in the body, in the gut, to say, right, we are ready to receive this nutrition. When you take that first sip of balance oil, the extra virgin olive oil, those phytonutrients, those polyphenols, they wake the system up and they get the gut ready to receive. And this is really one of the key features of how we enhance the bioavailability of the balance oil. So we have this encapsulated, protected, high-grade fish oil that starts to make its way through that entire digestive process in order for it to be functionally active where it matters most. And this is a key difference. And remember, balance oil is not guesswork. Balance oil is the direct outcome of test work. Currently, we have the world's largest database. We have over 1.7 million independently analyzed and verified samples depicting the whole global scale of omega-3 status. More importantly, it shows for those people who remember a simple thing, which is to take this much oil every single day to change their omega-3 status. We show care, commitment, and dedication to every step of the process, from capture until that first sip. And it's for all these reasons. When we look at the balance of EPA to DHA, the elegance of the formulation when we look at those polyphenols, when you put all of this together in one bottle and you take a dose that is based on your own body weight, and you do that every single day, that's how balance oil works.
Hello, I am so excited to talk to you about the expansion of the Collagen Boost family. And now we are happy to launch our new product, Collagen Flex, for the European markets. As you know, we have the original Collagen Boost, which is the gel in the fantastic black cherry flavor. And now we also have Collagen Boost Flex in berry flavor. Now, the main difference is, you probably have already ascertained, that is that one is a gel and the other one is a powder. The Flex is to be mixed in 1/2 liter of water. Shake it well, it dissolves super easily, so that's a really great advantage of it. The Flex has the same amount of collagen as the Boost gel, the original, so there is very little difference in the two apart from the format. So you have 8 grams of marine hydrolyzed collagen. You have the same standard of collagen, on average 3000 Dalton. You have the same amount of hyaluronic acid in there and also the same amount of the postbiotics. So the main flagships are the same in both products. One of the main differences is the lifestyle, how it suits you, how best to put it into your life so that you are consistent with using it. So if you're more the sporty active type, and it suits you to drink it with hydration, remember it goes in 1/2 liter of water, so it's great to have when you're at the gym, when you're out on that walk, when you're going for a run, or if you're sitting at your desk and you need to drink from time to time. The gel, the original Boost, is great if you're out and about. You are out to town, for example, going shopping, you want that little sweet snack which has that amazing flavor to it, and you secure your collagen fix that way. One of the main differences is the certification. So you have informed sports certification for your Collagen Flex. So for the powder that you mix with water, we have informed sports. That means that every single batch has been tested and is free of any doping relevant substances. So the perfect match for anyone who is a professional athlete or very competitive. The gel, on the other hand, is still tested, but it's a random testing and it is informed choice. That means that every month random tests are done, but not every single batch is assured that it is tested. So depending on your lifestyle, depending on your preference, there is an option for you to choose from, whether it be the gel or the powder, you will get your collagen fix.
What is your goal? To look good or to feel good? Why not both? Conventional skincare can only go so far in keeping your skin hydrated, nourished, and radiant. Lasting beauty comes from within. Our skin is the largest organ, our first line of defense, protecting us from the outside world, but it needs nourishment. Collagen is the most abundant protein in the human body, the glue that holds everything together. Our hair, nails, muscles, joints, and skin. Our skin's natural collagen levels decline with age. By our 50s, we may have lost up to a third. There are things you can do. Introducing advanced skin nutrition from Norway, Collagen Boost and Collagen Flex. A sophisticated blend of Arctic marine collagen infused with hyaluronic acid to help support your skin's elasticity while maintaining a healthy, radiant glow. Available as an easy liquid gel shot or a refreshing on-the-go powder. Let the glow show. Nourish your skin from within.
Dear Zinzino partners, I'm incredibly excited to give you an update on the latest partner tools that my team and I have developed for you, and to give you an exclusive sneak preview of several exciting releases already planned for Q3. All of these tools are designed to help you keep your momentum strong and accelerate your growth throughout 2026 and beyond. At Zinzino, we know that growth does not happen by chance. Growth happens when passionate people are supported by powerful systems. And that is exactly what we are focusing on. Today, I'm proud to introduce a completely upgraded stack of sales and marketing materials built around one of the most important foundations of our company, the balance concept. The balance concept is more than just our core product offering. It is the heart of our brand positioning. It represents the power of test-based nutrition brought to life in a simple, tangible, and highly compelling way. And because this concept is so important, we believed it was time to elevate the entire prospecting journey. We wanted to give you tools that are easy to understand, emotionally engaging, and visually modern. And most importantly, tools that help you convert faster. So let us start with something very exciting. I'm proud to present our brand new customer prospecting video, Meet the Balance Concept.
Most supplements start with a promise. Zinzino starts with a test. Omega-6 and omega-3 are essential fats we need from food to support key functions in the body. Getting omega-6 is easy, but getting enough omega-3 is harder than we think. Keeping a healthy balance matters. Global studies show that roughly 6 billion of us are short on the key omega-3s that are built into our cells to nourish and support the body. Many of us turn to supplements without knowing whether or not they work, leaving us with an imbalance we might not realize. So where do you stand? Zinzino's balance test is an easy, at-home fatty acid test you do in minutes, independently analyzed, securely coded, giving you a clear baseline. Then act on your results with Balance Oil, a full-spectrum omega supplement with a unique blend of EPA and DHA enriched with vitamin D3 and antioxidants from olive polyphenols and tocopherols, keeping the nutrients fresh and intact to support your everyday well-being. 120 days later, you test again. No empty promises, just scientific, measurable results you can trust. Well-being is personal, not a guessing game. And the only promises that matter are the ones we make to ourselves. Test. Don't guess. From the pioneers of test-based nutrition.
Now, because our ambition is to provide you with complete sales systems, not just isolated marketing materials, We have also upgraded our entire ecosystem of product concept pages connected to the balance concept. This includes the balance concept page, the balance test, and the omega supplement product page. All of them are now visually and strategically aligned to create one strong and consistent customer journey. And as always, these pages are fully shareable directly from your back office. Let me quickly show how simple this is. Once you log into your back office, scroll down the Partner Tools section and click on Shareable Product Concept Pages. From there, simply select the page you would like to share with a prospect or existing customer. And here's the important part. When you click the purple button at the end of the page, your customer is automatically connected to your personal Zinzino webshop. That means you can educate, inspire, and convert all within one seamless system. At this point, I would like to highlight that we have updated all existing product concept pages with new imagery and the latest content. And finally, because many of you have asked for professional materials that are both printable and easy to share digitally, we have also developed a brand new Balance Concept Sales brochure. This brochure is available in 2 different formats inside the marketing portal. To access the portal, simply log into your back office and scroll down to the Partner Tools section. If you have never used the marketing portal before, here's how to access it. First, log in using your email address and create a password of your choice for the external platform. Once inside, simply select the content you would like to work with. As you can see here, by clicking on the Balance Concept section, you gain access to a complete collection of marketing material, including images, posters, roll-ups, and editable postcards, and of course our flyers. For example, you can select the Balance Concept EU version and personalize it with your own contact information. Once your details are added, click Save to preview the final version. Then simply download the file and send it to any local printer of your choice. But we also wanted to make sharing even faster and easier for everyday prospecting. This is why we created a second option, a fully digital, flippable brochure version. Simply scan or click the QR code and download the EU English version directly to your phone. This version is pre-designed and cannot be added with personal contact details, but it is incredibly convenient for fast sharing with prospects wherever you are. Whether you're meeting somebody at the coffee shop, at an event, or simply connecting through social media, you now have a professional presentation tool right in your pocket. These brochures are now available in multiple language versions inside the marketing portal for you to utilize globally. And this is not limited to the Balance Concept materials. Additional sales and marketing material, including the gut health flyer and skin nutrition flyer, are now also being updated and available in multiple languages. But this is not all. I would also like to take the opportunity to highlight several new video tools that we have launched during this quarter. Tools especially designed to help you educate, duplicate, and grow your business even faster. Let us start with something many of you have been asked for. We have developed a brand new Zinzino for free customer explainer video. This short and very powerful video explains in a very simple and easy to understandable way how customers can achieve the Zinzino for free status and, just as importantly, how they can maintain the status over time. The video is only 2 minutes long, making it a perfect tool to share quickly with prospects or existing customers. And because we know how important multilingual support is for your global field, the video is already available not only in English, but also in multiple languages, including German, Spanish, French, and many more. You can find this video in several places, directly on our customer website in the About section under Customer Rewards Program, as shareable page directly from your back office under Business Opportunity Pages, and of course, as always, on our video platform zinzinoplay.com. Inside Zinzino Play, simply go to Business and then to the section Business Explained. And now, let us take a look at the video together.
Would you like your products for free? Here's how Zinzino for free works. When qualifying for our Zinzino for free program, you get your products for free and only pay for shipping the following month after completing these simple steps. Step 1, you need to subscribe and pay for at least one Premier kit. Go to Zinzino.com and select one of our Premier kits to become a Premier customer. Each kit and product has a credit value, which you find in the product description. In this example, the kit has a credit value of 14 credits, and the monthly subscription gives 4 credits per month. Step 2, use the selected product. Feel the difference and share the product experience with your friends. Step 3, share your personal referral link to 4 friends or people you think can benefit from our products. Log into your account to find your referral link in the left side menu. Make sure your 4 friends become subscribing customers through your personal referral and pay for their monthly subscription. For example, if your subscription is worth 4 customer credits, you need 16 total credits from your 4 subscribing friends. Congrats! You've qualified for Zinzino for free. Now all you pay is shipping and you start collecting Zenocash to get other products for free. Step 4. To stay qualified for Zinzino for free each month, your 4 subscribing friends must keep their monthly subscription active and paid for. Together, their total subscription credits value must be at least 4 times the credits value of your own Premier subscription. Go to Zinzino.com and sign into your account. In My Account, you can easily track your Zinzino for free progress, including your subscribing friends, which are presented as your personal customers, your credits, and your Zenocash balance, and watch your rewards grow.
Now there's one final tool I would like to highlight today. Because one thing that is always extremely important to me is listening to you, the field. Listening to your challenges and listening to your feedback and understanding what can truly make your everyday business easier. And one message we heard again and again was this: how can we onboard new partners faster and more effectively? So we decided to create a completely new series of short back office tutorial videos designed specially for your application and onboarding. These videos are meant to be simple, practical, and immediately useful for every new partner entering the business. Currently, the series includes 8 different tutorial videos covering topics such as how to navigate the back office, how to use the marketing tools, how to create and manage an account, how to set or change an auto order, how to enroll a customer partner, and even how to place a new partner in the waiting room correctly. The goal is simple: to reduce complexity and to save time, and of course to help new partners become operational and confident much faster. You can find all of these tutorials on zinzinoplay.com under Business, Back Office Tutorials. You can either share individual videos or share the entire tutorial category directly with your new partner from the category section. This creates a much smoother onboarding experience and helps build strong duplication throughout your organization. And once again, because we are committed to supporting our international field, these tutorials are also available in multiple languages. And of course, if you know me and my team, you also know one thing: we are always thinking about what comes next. Because our ambition is not only to support your business today, our ambition is to continuously build smarter systems, stronger tools, and better duplication experience for the future. And that is why I would like to take the opportunity to give you an exclusive sneak preview of several exciting releases already in development for Q3. One of our biggest priorities moving forward is partner recruitment and onboarding. Because we know the faster new partners understand the business, the faster duplication begins. And that is why we are currently developing a completely new Zinzino business opportunity video together with a brand new short business presentation designed specially for modern prospecting. These tools are being created to make sharing the business opportunity simpler, faster, more emotional, and more effective than ever before. And this is only the beginning. As next step, we will also upgrade both our complete business presentation and customer presentation during the second half of 2026, ensuring that our global field continues to work with modern, high-converting, and visually powerful presentation systems. But we are not stopping there. We are also currently redesigning and upgrading our entire Get Started onboarding experience for new partners. This includes a new updated welcome video, new introduction videos focusing on the Zinzino way of building successful duplication, a modern and mobile-friendly design, and an upgraded partner tools section directly integrated into the onboarding experience. And of course, the new backups tutorial series I showed you earlier will also become part of the onboarding ecosystem. Everything is being designed around one simple goal: to help new partners get started faster, easier, and with greater confidence from day one. This updated onboarding experience is planned for release during Q3. And I can already tell you now, we are incredibly excited about the impact these tools will create across our global organization. At the end of the day, everything we are building has one purpose: to help you become faster, stronger, more professional, and more scalable in your business. Because when simple tools meet powerful systems, duplication happens. And when duplication happens consistently, growth becomes inevitable. Thank you once again for your trust, your passion, your incredible commitment to changing life through test-based nutrition all around the world. The future is bright, the momentum is real, and now it's your time to take these tools into market and create momentum like never before. Thank you, everyone. Let's continue building the future of Zinzino together. Thank you.
That's amazing. So many exciting updates.
Let's take a quick look.
Head over to zinzinoplay.com
and you'll find business videos for partner prospects under business with the full playlist ready to go. And just a little bit further down, you'll see the Get Started videos.
Quick challenge for you. Snap a photo, post it, use a hashtag Zinzino event.
And over the weekend, we'll draw the 3 lucky winners of a free event ticket.
Oh, that's something worth to celebrate.
Yes, and speaking of celebrations, take a look of all the incredible new rank achievement since the last annual event.
Woo!
Woo!
Congratulations to our new directors. Congratulations to our new crowns. From Germany, Alexandre da Silva. From Mexico, Alfonso Casabal Delgado. From the United Arab Emirates, Ahiona Ozyornaya Kozlova. From Switzerland, Andrea Heller. From Germany, Anja Rogan Pirtz and Jose Pirtz. From Germany, Anna Jungst. From Germany, Barbara Huber. From Hungary, Beatrix Bodo. From the United Kingdom, Bethany Brannan. From the Netherlands, Corné Simons. From Poland, Darius Schohen. From Germany, Dr. Barbara Huber. From Mexico, Erica Fabiola Hernandez Chavez. From Spain, Estela Ayon Torres. From Switzerland, Eveline Bend. From Spain, Francisco de Borja and Rue de la Sierra. From the United States, Frank Kimbrough. From Hungary, Gabor Bodi. From Singapore, Goshen Bismaker. From Mexico, Herlinda Gutierrez Sanchez. From Germany, Ingrid Hellman. From Germany, Jan Batke. From Germany, Jan Christian Koss. From the United Kingdom, Jenny Shenstone. From the United States, Jordan Schrant. From Hungary, Laszlo Varga. From Canada, Lily Olshanitsky. From Mexico, Liliana Andrea del Valle Gomares. From Peru, Lourdes Breseño Serrano. From Germany, Maya Zreich. From Spain, Maria Teresa Nunez Lopez. From Germany, Mario Klausmann. From Germany, Martina Lau. From Switzerland, Miriam Koppel-Luther and Heiko Luther. From the United States, Monica Garcia de Alvarez. From Canada, Nathan Goldberg. From the United Arab Emirates, Nicole Schwalm. From Switzerland, Philip Glor. From Germany, Ralph Kuhn. From Latvia, Roberts Fischers. From France, Roland Lai Yu. From the United States, Ryan Higgins. From Mexico, Sandra Rojas Quintana. From the United States, Sarah O'Connell. From the United States, Sarah Rachel Janney. From India, Surav Sharma. From Germany, Suzanne Nicolaus. From Portugal, Tiago Coelho and Umberto Pinto. From Germany, Tina Shaber and Nicholas Hagenmeyer. From the United States, Tricia Martin. From Taiwan, Yang Chun Wen. From Japan, Yasko Honda. From the United States, Giselle Velasquez Rodriguez. Congratulations to our new royal crowns. From the United States, Alexander Hoffman. From the United States, Alonzo Popoca. From Germany, Anna Hawk. From Germany, Antje Busselmann. From France, Arthur Glenell. From the United States, Bethany and Tom Alkazin. From Germany, Brikenda Berisha. From the Czech Republic, Brony and Jan Vesely. From Germany, Christina Werner. From Germany, Daniel Ruplin. From Mexico, David Alcantar Sanchez. From Canada, Ellen Geraldine Ramalou. From Germany, Gitta Schattling. From Lithuania, Ina Janokaitite. From Germany, Inga Mastorf Palacio. From Switzerland, Kinda Guzetta. From Mexico, Leticia Jasmine Avila Moreno. From South Africa, Luisa and Henny Potkeeter. From Mexico, Lourdes Mariela Manzano Martinez. From Mexico, Maria Casasa Pavlovskaya. From Germany, Marlene Seiler. From Switzerland, Michael Bensko. From Japan, Norihumi Higashi. From Mexico, Paco Hernandez. From Germany, Sandra Kahns. From India, Sham Nagar. From Germany, Torsten Miller. Congratulations to our new black crowns. From Spain, Aitor Nicolau Segui. From the United States, Angel Fletcher. From Germany, Birgit Bolvine. From the United States, B.K. Barreco. From the United States, Capulet Riel LLC. From the United States, Carla Burns. From Germany, Christian Marquardt. From Austria, Gudrun Zagater. From Latvia, Inga and Maris Lux. From the United States, Christy and Kyler Pentecost. From Spain, Miriam de la Sierra Urquijo and Bash Bohari. From the United Kingdom, Ruth Monroe. From Latvia, Zane Kronberga. Congratulations to our new ambassadors. From Germany, Arnold Umke. From France, Christophe Masson. From Germany, Clivia Anfeld and Torsten Siem. From Mexico, Gerardo Adrian del Castillo Ruiz. From Austria, Goran Lucic. From Latvia, Kira Baltrunka. From Germany, Lars Kosea. From Germany, Matthias Philipp. From Ecuador, Miguel Jaramillo. From Germany, Miriam Rabar and Clemens Baumann. From the United States, True Zeno. From the United States, Viviana B. Alvarez. From Australia, Wayne Fan. Congratulations to our new Royal Ambassadors. From Norway, Bente Engvik. From the United Kingdom, James Locke. From the Dominican Republic, Marisa Mock. From Norway, Nikolai Ruud. From the United States, Ruth Elliott. Congratulations to our new black ambassadors. From Mexico, Alejandro Lopez Tejo Cuellar. From Hungary, Christopher Kamrasch. From Germany, Pia Czech. From Germany, Sasha Heen. Congratulations to our new presidents. From Norway, Camilla Stene. From the west coast of Norway, she built her business with heart, vision, and grit. A mother of three, a mentor at heart, her journey is all about lifting others while growing herself. From Germany, Daniela Marquardt. It started with a message and became a movement. Rooted in health, driven by belief, and built through service, she now leads at the very top of Zinzino with purpose, heart, and vision. From France, Eric Masson. A visionary leader from France with a heart for health, a mind for systems, and a mission to make a difference. With a background rooted in science and a passionate drive to empower others in their well-being, he leads with clarity, simplicity, and connection. From Slovakia, Ivan Martiniec. He chose the long road, not the easy one. After starting over, not once, but twice, he rebuilt with loyalty, led with vision, and showed up when it mattered most. Today, he stands at the top of Zinzino, a living example that legacy isn't rushed, it's earned. From Mexico, Jose Pepe Celaya. With a heart for service and a mission to impact lives, he's rewriting the future of Latin America. From personal dreams to team victories, his journey is powered by purpose, values, and a bold vision. From Austria, Michael Stutler. He started with no experience, 100 rejections, and a decision to never give up. Today, he leads one of the most purpose-driven teams in Zinzino, built not just on vision, but on heart. A true believer in people, in growth, and in showing up, even when no one's watching. From the United States, Stacy Whitaker and Art Napolitano. Driven by purpose, guided by integrity. Now at the president level, they keep inspiring growth in business, in health, and in life. A global impact in motion, and this legacy is only getting started. Congratulations to our new elite presidents. From the United States, Shannon and Andy Dooley. Fueled by faith, vision, and heart, they turned life's challenges into a global mission of impact. Through unwavering belief in people and a commitment to serve, they have inspired countless others to dream bigger, lead boldly, and create lasting change. Their legacy is built not only on success, but on the success they help others achieve. From the United States, Stephanie and Joel Dunn. They turned one of life's hardest seasons into a mission to help others rise, leading with faith, resilience, and a genuine heart for people every step of the way. By transforming personal challenges into a platform for hope, they have become a source of inspiration for thousands seeking a better future. Congratulations to our new global presidents. From Switzerland, Audrey and Sven Goebel. They lead with heart, they build with vision. Fueled by purpose, they turn challenges into momentum and teams into movements. With unwavering belief and a mission to serve, they inspire growth across the globe. This is Leadership in Harmony, and their journey has only just begun. From the United Arab Emirates, Marco Passanante. A leader with heart, vision, and unstoppable energy. With every step, he leads by example, lifting others, building belief, and sparking transformation. His journey is rooted in purpose, fueled by passion, and guided by an unshakable commitment to growth. Not just building a business, but shaping a global movement of inspiration and impact. This is the kind of leadership that doesn't just reach milestones, it creates them. From Norway, Vibeke Steinsvik Parr. She leads with quiet strength, bold vision, and a heart rooted in kindness. Her journey has never been just about titles. It's about impact, growth, and lifting others along the way. Across borders and generations, she has inspired a movement grounded in purpose, trust, and service. Today, we honor a legacy in motion and a leader who continues to rise by raising others.
Huge congratulations to all of you that ranked up throughout 2026. I'm so grateful, so happy on your own behalf, but also at Zinzino's behalf. You truly make the difference. Thank you!
What an incredible season this has been!
Yes, every rank matters, all the way from the partner that begins to the bronze that goes silver, that goes gold. And that journey that you started early on, later on becomes the victory story when you achieve those big ranks. We want to stretch out our big congratulations.
Big congratulations. We love you. We appreciate you.
Please stay tuned. Don't forget to post your pictures.
I'm pretty new here, but I do know that this is a prep time of our high season. It's the time when momentum starts compounding, habits sharpen, and excuses quietly disappear. Miriam, so tell me, what is your target for the ending 2026?
Is it the number you say out loud or actually the one you believe you can hit? What about you?
Big ambition sounds great, but the real difference isn't the goal. It's actually what you are really doing. The gap between what you say by Monday and what you've done by Thursday.
Because goals don't respond to motivation. They respond to consistency, especially when nobody's watching.
True. And if anyone has turned vision into reality, it's the person which is doing it at the highest level in the industry for years.
It's about turning intention into execution, year after year. And there's no one better to learn it from than our founder, 7-star global president, Marianne R.
So here is the thing, and that is that if you want to have a harvest, you got to plant some seeds. And you know, there is a story that I wrote in the 90 Days to Win book, which was about planting seeds. And I brought some seeds here today, and these can be very nice sunflowers. And some of the seeds will be in bad ground, some would end on the rock. Some of the seeds might be stamped on, but let's see over here, if I'm a real farmer up here, there is a tree in here. So some of the seeds could end up in good soil. And of course, if I planted them into the soil, they could eventually bring a big harvest. Now, sometimes the birds take them. Sometimes other things happen. Sometimes they grow up and sometimes they go away. It's not only the farmer that plants seeds to get a harvest. It's also business people. Business people have to plant seeds. You have to invest into a company. Or if you're an investor, you got to invest into the company. And from what you invest, you're expecting a return. You have to trust the people. Some companies are great. My brothers, they are what we call value investors. They try to manage some of my money. And they had this beautiful company last year. And then it ended up being a fraud, losing hundreds of thousands of euros on the portfolio of my brothers and myself. So that sometimes happens, but you don't give up because something goes wrong. You don't give up as a sower because something fell on the rock. You don't give up as an investor just because some companies grew and then they declined again. They weren't able to deliver what they were supposed to deliver. You simply keep on sowing. I was out of seeds. And then as you keep on sowing, you're hoping for the ones that ends up in good soil to give you 100-fold return, which I'm looking forward to next year. Maybe you should get back here and see if my big sunflower plants are growing up. Maybe it takes like a couple of years. But as a networker, it's about prospecting. It's about being out there, finding the people. You got to find more people. If you're struggling, if you're not doing well, you got to go out there and find more people. That's our job. Like, look for them. People are everywhere. Here, they're running past me. We're, by the way, in Nice, in beautiful France, and the Mediterranean is just behind us here. So we're going to have some fun in this little park. But if you're a networker and you're out of people and you say, I don't know who to talk to, well, then your job is to find people to talk to. The next step is that you got to contact them and you got to be booking meetings and you got to be introducing them to the product. You introduce them to the business. You simply bring people to the opportunity of bringing up their health or correcting and improving their finances. I've been in so many thousands of meetings through my career. Every day, even today, I can't say that I make it every day, but for most part of my 25, well, actually it's more than 25 years of full time now. It's probably getting closer to 30 years of full time at this moment. I've had more than 3 meetings as an average a day where I introduce somebody new to the business. Then I've got a couple of meetings every day where I introduce somebody to the product. And then, of course, in addition to that, it's all the other things that needs to be done. Do everyone say yes when I'm in a meeting? Absolutely no. I think my statistic might be worse than your statistic. Some of you are so brilliant out there, especially the new ones. When you work with your circle of influence, the top 20 people you have, you might get 1 out of 2 or 1 out of 3. And some of them might say yes right away because they like you, they trust you, and they know you. But when you follow up one time, and then you follow up again a second time, then you follow up a third time, and then sometimes that's the standard follow-up pipeline, but then 90 days later, you follow up again, and a year later, you follow up again, and you keep rotating that pattern. Eventually, you get there. And then when somebody says yes, got to get them started. There is no way you're going to be able to do this business without creating some kind of duplication. Here's the thing, and this is what I really want you to get, and that is that the more seeds that you plant, the more seeds that you sow, the more things you put into the ground in your business, the more you do, the more results will come. You know, there is something called affirmation where you say, I am a diamond, or I am a black crown. I just learned this, and I've probably myself done this in the past a few times. Instead of doing an affirmation, you do an ask formation. And you ask your subconscious, you ask yourself, why is it that I can see myself as a black crown? What is it that makes me able to become black crown? Why am I a black crown? Try that, because sometimes when you say something that you've never done before, you will have resistance from the inside of you. Sometimes there is no resistance, but when you change it into a question, instead of having resistance, you will feel that your subconscious, the inner you, what's under the ground, in the literally explanation of a tree, what's under the ground, what's inside of you, becomes then more acceptable, and it starts looking for how does it create you into first a diamond, then maybe a top 10 100, and then it creates you into a black ground. What's under the ground is more important than what's over the ground. What's inside of you, or actually, let's say it like this, the winning starts inside of you long before you bear fruits. So we plant the seed, and the action is under the ground a long time before it races up and it bears fruit in the end. The invisible world, which means that subconscious, creates in the end the visible world, where you actually end up living what becomes your life. So here is a question, or actually two questions. What is your big goal? What is the thing that you really want? Like looking 5, 10, 20, 30, maybe 50. Some crazy people will look 500 years into the future and say, this is what I want to create. This is my big goal. What is that big thing? Take out a pen, write it down right now and say, this is what I want in my life. This is what I want to achieve. And then the second thing is much, much more short term, in the near future. What do you crave? What do you want right now? What do you so badly want to achieve or experience or have or buy or so on? And when I talk about that, I just by putting my notes together, I was reminded about a few things with myself. I'm a foodie. I love food, okay? So one of the things, and actually the reason why I'm here in this, except for doing this summer kickoff, is that I'm having a little bit of a trip with my friends. And one of the things that I really like is food. And I was craving the best experience that we could have. So I'm going to a chateau tonight to have a private chef experience with 7 of my best friends. And we're going to just have this incredible experience. It's actually 5 of my best friends and 2 people from Rumbouts, which I've known for a long time, and we're celebrating 130 years. And then tomorrow, we're going to S Village. It's straight up there. If you see the mountains behind here, it's across those mountains, and it's on the top of a hill, and it's a cliff down to the ocean, and we will see the Mediterranean as we get the most fantastic food experience that you could ever have. So what do you need, and what do you really want? Is it to go shopping? Some of us love shopping. I'm one of those that I don't mind shopping. And in the text chat group with the boys, we said, okay, who's buying something? Is it a vacation? Is it to get out of the cold into the sun? Is it to get out of the sun into the cold? On my flight down here yesterday, I was sitting next to an army guy, and he'd just been to Norway because he loves parachuting. And Norway has got some crazy, incredible mountains. He said, Norway is amazing, the Alps are amazing. And he was going on about how he likes to just dive out of an airplane or jump off a mountain and then fly. And they were practicing some new flying techniques that I've never seen before. Completely crazy stuff. So is it a crazy vacation like that? Or is it just to get a launch here behind you, sit down, get some sun, get some color, enjoy life for a bit of a moment? Is it to put money in your bank account to have security? Is it to have cash, available resources? What are you craving? Is it to upgrade your home? Is it to own your home? Is it to get an apartment? What are the things that you want? Or maybe for this trip I booked 8:30 every morning to go to the spa and just indulge and get a massage. And it's a beautiful spa hotel where we are, so I'll do the jacuzzis and the treatments and all of those things. Is it just to have that cool calmness? Or maybe it is to get a massage 2 times a week for the rest of your life. If you love massages, that'd be good. Is it free time to play with your kids and to mountain hike and do the things that you usually don't get to do? To go into the mountains and pick berries? Is it buying a purse? I love buying purses for Hilda. I love purses more than Hilda likes purses. Let's see on this trip if she gets another one. I don't know if it will make her happy, but it will for sure make me happy that she gets another purse. I remember this watch, or I want just like it. I saw it when I was 22 years old in a shopping window, and then it was like crazy expensive. It's a Rolex Yachtmaster, and I was seeing it there in the shop, and it was in Hawaii, and I wanted it, but I couldn't afford it. And I said that when I get rich, I want to get one like that. Then I got rich, and I said, no, it's still crazy expensive. And then I said, if I do all of these things, then I'm going to buy it. So it drove me for 8 years to achieve amazing things, because it was something that was a symbol of success for a business person, and I wanted it. Now, let's look at how creation starts. Because, you know, it's a process, it's a step-by-step thing. And to create something, like to get these goals, we got to create. Maybe it's some of these things, the spa experience. If you go top team 100, that's 10,000 euros in the first year. And you can go to a spa a lot of times for that kind of money. If it's diamond, that might bring you into a new car or maybe into a new home. This is a nice little spot we found here, peeking through the tree. I haven't done that before. Maybe it is going executive, that is in the short term, to get some of those small things that you want. Think about that. You go executive, then you go A-team, then you go pro team, then you go top team, then you go platinum, then you go diamond, and you climb up the ranks, like climbing up a tree, and then you go to director, you go to director trip and get this amazing experience there. Then you climb up to crown, and crown is an incredible income. You're full-time, then you climb up to royal crown, and you don't stop, you keep on climbing, and then you hit black crown, hitting the leader council levels, and you become a part of those people that are doing incredibly well, the top ranks of the company. Say to yourself, why do I have the potential? Why can I see? Why can I feel? Why do I know that I'm going to be a black crown, or that I am a black crown? See, what I just did and what I tried to do was to plant seeds, or a seed inside of you. It's called other suggestion. And one of the first times I experienced this was when my father would have people with him to our home. And those were the business people that he was working together with. He was an editor-in-chief, and they needed to go from the old world to the modern world, to go from setting the newspaper one letter at a time on a glass plate to having it digitalized. And he was dealing with business people that was investing in computer systems, and they were building print shops and so on. And I heard him talk about them with such a respect, and he talked them up. And that planted a seed inside of me that I wanted to be a person which my father and other people would respect, that they would talk up. Now my video guy here is getting concerned about all the things happening in the background. There will always be noise, just like I talked about. There will be noise when you're going to build a business. There will be ups and downs, just like in our live shooting here. So don't worry about those kind of things. But if the seed is planted, it's called the other people's suggestion. It could be a mentor, it could be your upline, it could be something that happens at an event, it could be something that you already have experienced. Look for that. What did other people suggest that you could become? Then here is the thing, and that is that when we have then gotten the idea, we could either accept the idea, but sometimes we could also reject the idea. It depends on how the idea is planted, who plants the idea. But when you accept it, it becomes what we call self-suggestion. It is not anymore me saying, I believe that you can go all the way to Black Crown. It's not me saying, I know that you can be a top team 100 by the end of this summer. It's not me anymore saying that I think that if you do to the best of your ability, you can be a Black Crown in 5 years. It becomes you saying, I know that I'm going to do everything in my might. I'm going to use everything that I've got, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to run, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to be a Black Crown. And if I won't do it in 2 years, I know that's going to be tough, but I'll stretch it to 3 years, and then I'll push for it in 4 years. And by the end of 5 years, there is nothing that can stop me from becoming a Black Crown. That's when you suggest it to yourself. When it sprouts, so we've got a tree here, and it's about to blossom up there. That's when it becomes an auto-suggestion. It's gotten deep roots. And then when it actually bears fruits, that's when it multiplies. What you want in your life is that you want to work on your dreams, you want to work on the ideas of the things that you really want. You want to work on them, and you want to create dreams with very deep roots. I don't know about this tree. I can see that it's got a big trunk here, and then it's got a lot of branches, and it's bearing fruit. And where that comes from is that it comes from deep inside of the ground. I don't know this, if it spreads out 4, 5, 8 meters. Maybe it spreads all the way over to the palm tree over there. I don't know how big and how deep the roots is of this tree. What I do know is that deep roots, when you get that on your dream, that's when people say, I've got purpose in my life. I know what my life is about because I've got purpose. You've found your life's purpose. From me suggesting that you will go Black Crown to growing into a business that has 130,000 credits, growing into something that becomes tall like a mountain, something amazing, 15,000 customers that are buying products every month. It goes through a process. And I can promise you, this process is going to be worth it. First, you got to accept the other people's suggestion on your life. You got to accept that I want to. If it's A team or pro team or top team or executive or platinum or diamond, or if we're going all the way to Black Crown, you got to accept that suggestion. Because you might not agree on my ideas. And if you don't agree on it, it doesn't help that you're in the environment of Zinzino. You got to come to the place there you accept the other suggestion. Even when your conscious mind says, no, I don't think it is like that, Oriana. I don't know. I feel like it's freezing my brain. I get pain in my brain when you're saying it that way. No, you got to get through that, and then you got to get to a place of acceptance. You can't let the filter just take away that you can do great things. You can't let that filter stop you. Then second, you got to agree to it, and then you got to repeat it. How it goes from me suggesting that you can do great things, that you can be totally amazing, until you suggesting it to you is agreeing and repeating. But there is going to be a struggle with that, where we are talking about who is in charge. Is it your conscious mind? Is it you wanting to that is in charge? Or is it your subconscious mind? Again, the soil, the things that are below, that is in charge. The inside of you. Is the inside of you in charge? Do you already have that deep-seated, deep-rooted purpose? Because that's what you want to create. Because if you plant something that isn't in a great soil, and there is disbelief instead of belief, and there is negativity instead of positivity, so you're running for a few minutes or a few days, and then all of a sudden there is something just saying that, no, I can't do that, and you get stressed and you get worried, and you then take the speed off, you stop prospecting, you stop doing all the things and so on. If that's what's challenging you, you got to work on just getting deep roots. I like this little one here. See, they're trying to do anything to stop this little straw of grass from coming out of the ground, but this one has purpose. It's not, I'm going to help it get a little bit more sun so it can grow more. This one has purpose. It's fighting its way back out, even though the circumstance is difficult. I know that things can be difficult at times. I know that. It's just how life is. Life isn't always that easy to me and Hilde either. But we fight back. We don't give up. So you repeat the message, you write a gratitude journal, you decide upon that getting emotionally engaged, and you can visualize it, and you creatively imagine what is going to happen in your future when you achieve it. You do positive reaffirmation, you do ask formations, you do creative imagination, and then you act as if. You start acting as if. So you're booking the meetings, you're calling the people, you're setting it up, and you're doing your 3 meetings a day if you're full-time, 3 meetings a week for prospects. If you're part-time, then you do 2 customer meetings every week as well. If you're full-time, it's 5 meetings a day. Part-time, 5 meetings a week. And you keep on doing it, and then you do all the other meetings. You show up to the event. I didn't put on a suit today because it didn't fit my belongings. I didn't know what I was going to do today. But you put on a suit when you go to the event, or you put on your best clothes, and you act as if it is already there.
Everyone say hello.
Hello. Hello. Building belief. When you build a belief, eventually, when it reflects in your behavior, then you're getting close. And then third, it becomes you. It becomes auto-suggestion. You cannot hide from your drive. Your purpose is clear. You wake up in the morning and you know what you want. You become dream-driven. So there is one more step. Full out, massive action. You got to get moving. You got to get moving right away, you know. You can't just stand there. You can't just hold back. You can't keep on doing what you've done in the past. When you get to that stage 3, you're going to push the limit. You're going to plant seeds everywhere. So the next 90 days, what I want you to do is double your prospecting, get to know more people, go crazy on it, have a plan, make sure that you're doubling your prospecting, triple your contacting, get more meetings with more people in your team, get to everyone that you can get. and then quadruple the number of meetings that you do. One of the biggest things that happened for me when I was creating momentum was that I shortened the time of the meetings so that I could do a lot more meetings. And when I did that, my business got flying. And I went from being an ordinary networker to an extraordinary networker in that process. Let's do an exercise. Come over here. Let's do an exercise right here. I'll put this one down here. And we're going to do an exercise. And I know that you're sitting, or you might be on the bus. I don't know where you are. Maybe you're in a train. Maybe you're in the middle of an airplane. No, well, probably don't have the connections. I don't know where you are, but I want you right now with me to do the exercise. Okay? Right now. Stand up. Get out there. Okay? In the middle of, you're in your office, you're in a public place. Let's do the exercise. You're going to catch some attention, just like I got attention from the kids. Okay? And here's the exercise. You're just going to point your finger out like this in front of you. And then you're going to have your hips locked like this, and then you're going to have foot straight, and then you're going to turn around, and you're going to turn around, and then you're going to go as far as you can, and I can go to just beyond the tree there, and then you're going to remember that spot, and then you're going to come back. Now, for a second, just close your eyes, and then we're going to do the same exercise, but we're going to do it not with our physical body. We're going to visualize it. So you close your eyes, and now you turn around, and you turn around, and you turn around. You can feel your shoulders being loose, your hips being loose, and you're going just to the spot, and then you're going a little bit more. So now open your eyes, so you take out your finger again, and you turn around, and you turn around, and you turn around, and wow, I could go quite a bit longer. Now, close your eyes again, and you visualize, you remember that point, and you see that point, and you go around, you feel your shoulders being loose, your hips are loose, and you're feeling amazing. And then we point our finger out again, and then we do the exercise one more time. And wow, I could get along further again. So if you think that you pushed yourself to the limit, well, you might have been pushing, but there is always more. And it's when you're willing to do that little bit extra, that is when everything happens. That is when the magic happens. Because remember this silly little exercise, you might have done it before, you might have seen it before, but I remember I did it, I think first time was 1998 in Hawaii, and I was fascinated and realized that no matter how much I tried, I knew that I always got a little bit more. Sometimes you don't have more hours, but you can do more in the same hours. Sometimes you don't have like the clear idea of how you physically could do it, but instead of saying, I can't, you say, what can I do with the time that I have? How can I proceed with what I've got? Sometimes you're tight on money and you say, well, what can I do with the money that I have? So you go from thinking it's impossible to deciding that it's absolutely possible. Okay, let me end today with this cool little story. In my yard back home, we're overseeing the ocean kind of like in the background here. And then we have some hedges, a hedgerow that is kind of like covering the path that is in front so we can see people, we can only see the ocean. Then in front of that hedgerow, there were some trees. And those trees were annoying me because they were taking my view. I didn't like that, so I probably shouldn't admit this, but late one night, I'm sneaking out and I've got a saw and I cut down the trees. I go all the way down to their roots and I cut them off. I cut them off all the way down and I say, I won't see those trees anymore. They won't take my view anymore. Then I drag it around, I chop it up and we use it for fire or something like that, you know. So I thought that I was done with it, but I left the roots. So a few years later, it's pretty fascinating. And this one here will kind of like, if you imagine the tree isn't here. Next year it was just a little one like this. But then a few years later, the tree was there again. It'd grown up again and it started to take my view again. I'm not going to tell you what I did or what I got the gardener to do, but it happened. It grew back up. And this is what happens. This is what happens when you get purpose in your life. This is what happens when it becomes auto-suggestion. This is what happens when you take and you really dig into and you really build on those things that you want and you say, this is important to me. And that is that inside of you, in your subconscious, you're growing deep roots. It becomes an auto-suggestion. So even if you forgot about it, even if somebody attacked you, even if you got distracted, even if somebody tried to destroy you, even if something happened in your life where you had to start over, the roots are there and they're going to grow back up. Nothing can stop somebody that has a dream that comes from their inside, from their purpose in life, from their outer suggestion, because it is going to sprout again. There is no possibility to steal a dream with deep roots because it's your dream. It lives inside of you and no one can take it from you. When you become dream-driven, you become unstoppable and you will achieve everything that you want out of your life.
Thank you, guys. Bye.